I teach a lot at the different universities. I present a lot about Loanhood, and you can see there's a massive appetite for students to kind of take on this massive challenge and present opportunities from it. So I think they'll be the ones that kind of come into the industry, and they'll be the ones that kind of really make the dramatic changes. And that's really exciting to see. It's kind of changing our idea of what's new as well. I spoke to some students this week about what defines new to you. Is it going to a store and getting something with tags on, or is it kind of just going to a charity shop and getting something and it's new to you because it's new in your wardrobe? Like, what is the concept of that? Like, can we change that kind of definition of what new is?
We're in Brixton, where we're meeting up with Loanhood, a fashion rental app that is making waves in London and becoming the go-to app for independent designers wanting to rent out their collections. Through the app, you can become a loaner and make money by renting out your wardrobe, or become a borrower, where you can browse the app for fabulous flamboyant pieces. If you're looking for something completely unique and beautifully made, you can also discover the UK-based independent designers who Loanhood are genuinely passionate about supporting. Loanhood is about buying less and wearing more. Renting out one-of-a-kind clothes has never sounded more fun.
Okay, so we are joined by Jade McSorley, the co-founder of Loanhood. Tell us what Loanhood actually is.
So Loanhood is a fashion rental app, but it's a community of people who are renting out their wardrobes, and they're also borrowing from other people in the community. It's kind of a platform to share, rent clothes, prolong the life of the garments that we already have in our wardrobe, and also make money off the pieces in our wardrobe that are just hanging there.
How do you kind of get started into renting? Like, what's the process? Do you kind of take the picture, upload onto the app, or?
Yeah, it's super simple. I mean, that's, one of the things that we wanted to do when we were creating the app is kind of create something that was really familiar to people. So it still kind of has that social network feel. It still feels like a Depop resale app, but obviously it's renting instead. So it's because we are peer-to-peer. It's about you uploading your items, setting your price. You can stipulate whether you want it dry cleaned, whether you want delivery, or whether you're happy to pick up in person because the person might live really local to you. So why send it in the post and up the carbon footprint? So you can totally be in control of all of that. So yeah, it's super simple. Take a picture of yourself in it, pop it onto the app, put all the details in, it goes live, somebody requests it, you can accept or decline it.
So Loanhood was founded by 3 female founders, which is absolutely incredible. How did Loanhood kind of come about, and what was that light bulb moment for you all?
We've all worked in the fashion industry previously. I was actually a fashion model for 10 years before I went back to do my master's at London College of Fashion. I was working for a lot of fast fashion brands, putting my face on, those brands. And you start to see things from a very unique perspective. When you're a model, you're kind of a bit of a fly on the wall. And I was noticing over the years, like, how much more and more stuff was being asked to shoot. So I was kind of like, I can't believe all this product exists in the world, and who's buying it? It just seems to be going out all the time and constantly having to shoot more and more product, and it was starting not to sit well with me. And I had all this experience, and I was like, what am I going to do with it? Because I actually don't really respect the industry anymore.
Oh, wow.
So I went back to do my master's, and it was called Fashion Futures. And we kind of looked at the problems of, overconsumption, overproduction, thinking of different innovative ways in which we could kind of change consumer behavior or help the fashion industry toward a more sustainable future. And that's when rental for me really seemed to kind of tick a lot of boxes. When you're modeling and you have stylists on set, they're not really buying all that. I mean, some of them buy them and then take them back, but
Which don't tell anyone that.
Don't tell anyone that. There's a lot of like tricks, you know what I mean? But they're getting them from PR agencies or from the designers and stuff like that. So they're technically, in a way, like renting them themselves. And it's like, actually, it's the customer that is a bit of the mug because they see them in the magazine and then they go out and buy them. So it's like, surely we can kind of bring this model into like everyday life, and everybody should be doing it because we have such amazing wardrobes. Like, we should be all opening them up and doing the same thing. And I took the idea to Lucy Hall, who's one of the co-founders. She was actually my model booker at Models One. She was one of the first people that I met in London. And I told her about the idea. She was sold straight away. She was like, I think it's brilliant. Let's do it. Then I took it to Jen Sharon, who is a graphic designer. She used to work at Net-a-Porter and Outnet. And I said, can you bring Loanhood to life? Can you do the branding? Can you kind of create a really strong brand identity for us, which she did, and she nailed it. I was like, do you want to be part of it as well? We joined up and got this trio.
I love it.
And because we know kind of what the aim is and what the mission is, it kind of keeps driving us, even when we have like days where we just feel like we're, banging our head against the door. But we keep going on, and we all kind of help each other go, and we always know what we're doing is of importance. Well, we feel anyway.
What other kind of practices is Loanhood doing to kind of champion the sustainability element?
I feel anybody who's shopping sustainably or has access to sustainable fashion or more sustainable fashion we're probably coming from a very privileged position. It's kind of a luxury to be able to afford it. I want sustainable fashion. My goal is to make it as accessible to everybody. Shopping sustainable products, they're usually a little bit more expensive because of, who's created them or the type of fabric that's been used to create them. So they're definitely a higher price point. We didn't start kind of with the app initially. We were thinking about how we could, get into communities and kind of talk about sustainability within fashion in a way that didn't feel overly preachy. And we started doing clothes swaps. We started at the university, and then suddenly we got a contract with Hackney Council, and now we do about 8 every year. And it's a really kind of accessible way for people to update their wardrobes, and it's free. And it's just people coming, bringing their own clothes that they don't wear anymore and swapping it for something new with somebody else. And it's just a really good way of showing that, again, you don't need to pop to the shop. You can find other ways. And so we do them a lot. We also go to universities. We, talk to the students. We do like design for rental workshops where we think, we try and let them explore new ways of creating fashion with rental in mind. So it's really interesting to see all the different approaches, especially that students have, towards designing specifically for rental.
So what sets Loanhood apart from these kind of other rental platforms that we have?
I think what we found is, there was a market there for younger consumers to be a part of it. We're really like supportive of the next generation of like fashion consumers, like fashion creators, fashion designers, to kind of use rental in a way that kind of promotes them and their brand, their business. So we wanted to kind of focus on this like younger Gen Z kind of crowd, the ones that are, are really kind of the advocates of like, sustainable fashion and really aware of the climate crisis. And the rental platforms out there, we felt more were targeted towards more of the millennial, the more like occasion wear, really feminine. It doesn't have to be just occasion wear. It can be everyday wear. It can be, you could go on like a hot date, or you're going to a festival or a gig. Our aim is for rental just become this kind of the go-to to get something new to wear. You don't have to go to a fast fashion store on the high street. You can think, I might just rent it instead because actually I'm probably only going to wear it once. And I think most of people's wardrobe have, most of the items there can be shared. There's probably a very small percentage where you want to keep hold of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll be the first to admit that I definitely had pieces in my wardrobe that I maybe wore once and just never wore again. So let's talk about some of the designers actually on the app. Obviously, you cater for a lot of kind of emerging, up-and-coming designers. Let's talk about that. So you personally, do you have any kind of favourites at the minute or anyone that we should be keeping a bit of an eye on?
Oh, gosh. There are so many emerging designers that are coming on. And it's not just about emerging designers. It's also like independent brands. Like we have like Katie France as well. Like she does these love bomb bags.
I saw this earlier and was going to say about this. I'm obsessed.
Yeah, it's
love it.
Really fun. And like bags are really good rental accessories actually, because they're just really like, you know, add a little something to an outfit. And she's just, you know, she's already got a good following for herself, but she's like super engaged with rental as a model. So it's really nice to see like her kind of channeling, you know, the rental model and really kind of owning it and been so involved in the Loanhood community. We love it. There's this one, which is like a denim upcycled jacket from Jane's Italia. She's actually a new designer, but everything is upcycled. It's a sustainable brand doing something sustainable through rental. So it's like a win-win.
Yeah.
And also this designer, Ethan, he's actually now moved to New York to work for Oscar de la Renta, but this was his, you know, brand that he was doing in Liverpool, like these amazing corsets, which is super cute and fun and like the, you know.
This piece is a bit of me. Please tell me about this.
Oh, this one. Yeah, this is from Alona. But this is so great, isn't it? I mean, you could definitely like see this on a festival.
Yeah, this will be my Glastonbury outfit for next year.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, it just kind of makes an outfit really fun.
And something I spy at the end as well. The boots. The boots.
Oh, the kinky boots. Yeah. I know, they're really cool, aren't they? A lot of the borrowers, as we call them, the people that rent the outfits, a lot are, you know, music artists or DJs. So they kind of really like to wear like these type of pieces for their like gigs and stuff. Like how you wear it as well. You can kind of pair a lot of these pieces with something a little bit more low key, and it just kind of adds that like, you know, like this from a designer, this kind of latex skirt, this from a designer from London College of Fashion. This is kind of all been, you know, handmade. This is a designer called Ava Dixon. She's based in Wales. So yeah, there's like a real variety, but that's what I love. It's like, it shows people's like, you know, their individual style. Like fashion is supposed to be about expressing yourself.
Yeah.
And it just shows like how different people can be and like what they wear and what they like to wear. Also, we experience a lot of the time, especially with emerging designers, that as stylists were kind of taking some of their pieces and not returning them in the right state or not returning them at all. And they had like no protection. These are young designers that are putting all their heart and soul into creating these items of clothing that they love, and they're beyond, you know, price to them. You know, Absolutely. They have so much personal value. And, you know, a stylist has taken them, they think it's a great opportunity to be featured, and then, you know, they come back damaged or don't get returned.
We've heard that from a few kind of small independent brands, just, you know, giving their pieces out and then never hearing anything again. Is that quite common in the kind of fashion world?
It is massively common, and they want to kind of get their pieces out there and get exposure, but obviously it comes at a risk. You're trusting people to respect the clothes in the way that you make them. So if there's some like monetary kind of compensation from that, which we can offer on Loanhood, then it's a way for them to feel like they have some type of contract there or some type of support.
Obviously, you've had, you know, 10 years experience actually in the fashion industry, and now we know that fashion is changing. How do you kind of see it moving forward?
I mean, I definitely see more innovative kind of approaches to fashion happening. I teach a lot at the different universities. I present a lot about Loanhood, and you can see there's a massive appetite for students to kind of take on this massive challenge and present opportunities from it. So I think they'll be the ones that kind of come into the industry, and they'll be the ones that kind of really make the dramatic changes. And that's really exciting to see. It's kind of changing our idea of what's new as well. I spoke to some students this week about what defines new to you. Is it going to a store and getting something with tags on, or is it kind of just going to a charity shop and getting something and it's new to you because it's new in your wardrobe? Like what is the concept of that? Like, can we change that kind of definition of what new is?
That's a really interesting spin on it, actually. I'd never really think about that, because like the charity shop clothes, they're not new, but they're new to you. In terms of what's next for Loanhood, where can we kind of, what's the plan?
So we've got a lot more rental studios. We've already been taking kind of Loanhood on the road. We've been to Liverpool, we've been to Glasgow, finding that kind of talent outside of London. So we'll be doing that and kind of making more partnerships with different universities, definitely getting more students on board and emerging designers and finding those independent brands. I think fashion is really on like a good path now. Sustainability has moved on from being this buzzword. It's actually something that people are acting upon. Definitely do more, but we're getting there.